Saturday presents, in the red corner, the undisputed, undefeated Weed Whacker Guy. Champion of hurling grass and pollen everywhere. And in the blue corner, the challenger, extra strength Saturday. Eye drops that work all day to prevent the release of histamines that cause itchy allergy eyes. And the winner by knockout is Saturday. Saturday, bring it on.
Ryan Reynolds here from Mint Mobile. I don't know if you knew this, but anyone can get the same premium wireless for $15 a month plan that I've been enjoying. It's not just for celebrities. So do like I did and have one of your assistants switch you to Mint Mobile today. I'm told it's super easy to do at mintmobile.com/switch.
Upfront payment of $45 for 3-month plan, equivalent to $15 per month required. Intro rate first 3 months only, then full price plan options available. Taxes and fees extra. See full terms at mintmobile.com.
Hello everyone, welcome back to another episode of Teach, Sleep, Repeat. My name is Dylan.
And my name's Hayden.
And we're back with another question and answer episode from you, our lovely listeners. Down in the description to this episode, you can join the WhatsApp community where you get the link for priority access to asking us questions, all that good stuff. Hayden.
First question, why is there a pen on your ear?
Is there actually?
There is a pen on your ear. You never know there's a pen on your ear. You're not even teaching anymore.
I need a pen. I was getting annoyed yesterday because I couldn't find a pen. I'm old school. And even though I'm working, like my PC is over there, I do all my work on a PC. I've got 2 monitors. Like I understand, like I'm very tech savvy.
Yeah.
But if anyone needs me to write anything down or work anything out or do something or take notes, I grab my notebook and I write things down. I need to.
I don't think that's a bad thing. I don't think that means you're not techie. It's just it's a desired way of doing it. A pen going back on the ear.
Yeah.
It's comfortable there, isn't it?
It is comfortable there.
You do like it.
And honestly, when I see a pen loose, like
you did that. You genuinely didn't think.
I did. It was automatic. I literally just put it back.
You did that without thinking. I just called it out. Anyway, you can use it for your iPad. That'd be good. Right, should we dive in?
Go on.
Cool. First question from Q&A from an anonymous submission here. If you could say one thing, uncensored and unfiltered, to every parent you ever had, what would it be?
Probably your who's a something like that.
Oh, Dylan.
Something like that.
I thought we were going to stop
Uncensored?
this. You could know.
Probably.
Take this seriously.
Okay, I'm joking, obviously. I would say, if I wasn't worried about offending people and saying the right thing, I would say to everyone, pull your finger out when it comes to supporting your kid.
Yeah.
That's what I'd say,
Fair
genuinely. That's what I'd say. And for those people who are pulling their finger out, they won't be offended because they'll just be like, I know that's important. I'd be like, right, brilliant, nice one, at the end of the conversation. But for the parents who aren't, I'd just be like, please just do though. And I don't mean do things you physically can't do. I don't mean enroll them in clubs that cost £300 you don't have every month. That's not what I'm talking about. There is no excuse to not do some things with your kid. And even if you personally can't do them, well, at least go along with the school's policy of they've been set a little bit of something to practice. That's 10 minutes a week. Do that. Like, I'm not being funny. The amount of times in our career where our school was really good with homework. The homework for our school was reading 3 times a week, and practicing your times tables for 10 minutes a week. And we bumped up to 20 minutes sometimes, especially when it was around the time where they had to basically learn their times tables a bit more. So in total, it was less than an hour a week for a primary school kid, as it should be. It should be minimal, but it wasn't much, right?
Yeah.
The amount of children who didn't do anything at home ever, in my opinion, was insane.
Yeah.
And I, as a parent now myself, maybe it's because I'm a teacher as well. Maybe someone will come along and say, no, you're wrong. I cannot fathom not meeting that minimum requirement of genuinely reading with your kid. To me is not even homework. That I don't need the school to tell me to do that. But if some people do, listen to the school and do it.
Yeah.
And practicing your number bonds and your basic number facts for 10 minutes a week. Just do it.
Do you think it should be more acceptable in our culture for educators and trained professionals to be able to call that out in their setting to parents and make more of a thing of it and say, this is bad, you should be doing this, rather than just saying, oh, well, everyone's in different positions, do what you can?
Yeah, because I think, I agree with that. I think it should be, because I think what ends up happening is what happens now, which is the kids end up bearing the brunt of it, especially when they're like 7 or 8 years old, right?
Yeah.
Because again, think about what normally happens if homework isn't completed,
right?
Or staying at lunchtime then and do it. Well, now I'm punishing that child and taking away their playtime for something which, me personally, is the responsibility of the parent to make sure your literal child does.
Yeah, especially when they're that young.
That's exactly what I mean. We're not talking about secondary school here, where I think I can remember me personally gaining more independence, and it was not down to my mum if I did my homework or not when I was 13.
Yeah.
But when I'm 7,
kind of is.
Like it kind of is. And yeah, what worries me is that because we're scared to sometimes insult parents or hurt their feelings, even though it's not insulting or bad what we're saying here, because we're scared to do that, sometimes it can just be like, oh, we'll send a gentle reminder out, but if you don't do it, you're staying in at break time. Then the parent's off the hook as well.
Yeah.
And I just think that winds me up slightly because I hate punishing children. And I personally never, a lot of teachers would keep them in at break time to read if they hadn't done their reading that week.
Yeah.
I never did that.
No, I rarely did. I tried not to as much as possible because I also felt I just didn't really go against it. It kind of went against what I thought was the right thing. Yeah, but I do think, and we said it before, I don't want to be a broken record, but I do think like we've lost all ability to have any credibility really in like what we say as a profession in terms of just taking it seriously to the point where it's like you just can't say anything anymore because someone will be like, well, actually, who are you to tell this parent how to parent their child? Well, actually, I'm asking for an hour a week of stuff. I'm actually not really telling them how to parent at all. Yeah. I'm asking for, honestly, 1% of their week to do this one thing that's going to be enormously beneficial because I'm the professional and I know what I'm talking about and I'm telling you to do this.
Who are you to say that?
The professional.
The teacher.
Yeah. I just think we've gone a little bit too far in terms of being super, we just got to be super cautious of everyone's feelings, and we couldn't possibly say anything that anyone might interpret as offensive to. Do you know what? It's not really offensive, is it? Just to say you're not really doing the job of a parent if you're not just doing the absolute bare minimum. We wouldn't say the same thing, right? If they weren't feeding their child, no one would be afraid to say, "Oh, that's bad parenting." Yeah. So okay, cool.
Yeah. You'd die if you didn't do that. So slightly,
I
know what you mean.
But as an analogy,
even health advice as a doctor.
Yeah,
it's like, okay, probably you should be doing more exercise. Who are you to tell me I should be doing more exercise? The health professional who understands the benefits of that.
Yeah,
you don't have to do it. Obviously, you don't have to do
exactly.
Obviously, you don't have to. Not going to go.
But we shouldn't be afraid to be able to say, "Oh, I'm just trying to hold you a bit accountable here, parent. There's this one thing you should be doing, which is reading with your kid a couple of times a week." I don't even, honestly, in that point, I don't even really care about the excuses. I'm just telling you that you really should know this is really important. At that point, it is, I can't be the parent. You just need to do what you want. But I feel like we're too afraid to even say that sometimes. Sometimes, not everywhere.
I do think there is a culture with reading where it's more acceptable to say, you need to read.
Yeah.
You need to do this. Like in primary school, I've not worked in a school where reading isn't top of the agenda, and I've not actually seen a lot of chasing up with parents, etc. But I do think there's other stuff where, the line obviously comes down of how obviously good or bad something is.
Yeah.
I think maths often comes into that. Mm-hmm. But the very, very bare bones of maths for 10 minutes a week at home,
I agree. But as a professional, I certainly, in my own experience of talking to parents, I certainly had a namby-pamby approach to when it's clearly in front of me, right? This parent just needs to read with their kid and they're just not. I'd be very reluctant to just say that to them because I felt like, oh, but be careful of what I say. Really, I wish I could go back and be like, no, that parent just needed to hear you say, well, actually, this is like, you just need to do more.
But they just hate reading.
Okay, fair enough. But this is going to stunt their growth in every way. So like, you kind of
they just hate it. They literally won't read, and then we have a tantrum all night.
Listen, I get the barrier, and I'm not going to be the parent for your child, but I need you to understand how unbelievably important it is that you continue to try and get there. Like, you can't just then give up.
Exactly that.
Like,
that's
I
the
wouldn't
difference.
have said that stuff before. I would have been like, oh, okay, yeah, fair enough. You do what you can.
That's the difference, isn't it? I think that's a really important distinction to make, because there'll be lots of people listening still who go, guys, I am completely on board with you, but I still can't read with my son who just hates it so much, and it's not worth the absolute disruption to our home life because of it. But also, I think it's fair then to say what you said, which is, but we've got to keep trying somehow. We've got 100%. To try and look at a different way. And we need to not just give up completely, because we both understand in this situation how important this is.
Yeah.
So as the professional, I'm going to continue to give you this advice, which is sound advice. You're going to interpret it as you will as the parent. There will obviously be some situations where you don't read that night for whatever reason.
Yeah.
But I can't pretend to you that it's better to not read.
Yeah,
from my point of view, from an educational standpoint,
yeah.
You can take into account everything else.
Yeah, you've done what I'm trying to say, a bit of justice there, which is good. Hopefully that come across. My one, so understand.
Sorry, I didn't actually ask you. Your one.
So this is a Q. Q and A. Sorry, I forgot you're the A. I'm the Q. I'm so sorry. I won't say anything.
No, go on.
My one would be that your child lies all the time. Honestly, like the amount of parents over the years are like, my child doesn't lie. Yes, they do.
Yep.
No child. Everyone lies by default. Honest to God, like, we learn not to lie as we get older when we realise we get caught out. Everyone lies. Your kid's lying to you all the time. You think they're not, they are. I promise you. Please just listen to me as a teacher. Your kid is. If I told you your kid lied, they lied.
At different rates, kids lie.
They do.
And that seems to come into play of like, oh, but she's not like that. I was like, well, if I'm telling you that this happened, as an adult professional where it's actually easier for me to not have this conversation with you, by the way.
Yeah.
I'm only having this conversation with you because I feel like I need to, and I saw her throw the chair.
Yeah.
So if she's telling you she didn't throw the chair, and I'm telling you I saw her throw the chair, I do have some news for you.
It's not me that's lying.
I'm lying.
I'm
Because I
lying.
love to spread chaos.
And I threw the chair.
It was
Yeah,
me.
it's just mental.
No, obviously in that situation,
Of course.
even if you don't believe it, like as the parent, or you can't fathom it, time to have your worldview changed.
Exactly.
Because your precious little bundle of joy has lied.
Yeah, guess what? They lie, and they all do. Crack on. Right, next question. Go on.
I am currently a subject lead in history, geography, and RE for my current school. When I was a young upstart, I was really willing to get stuck in as a subject lead doing history and geography. TLR not included, of course. TLR, teaching, learning, responsibility, pay extra money. What's that when it comes to leading subjects for your own free time? I did all the jobs, such as the learning walks, the booklets, visited secondary schools and other schools to create dialogue, develop the curriculum, etc. Nowadays, I don't really feel like doing it because in my last school, it felt like I never got taken seriously. Also, they want me to look at attainment and target children. Is this right? I am not getting paid any extra, and I have got attainment progress to look at with my own class. I'm just not as passionate about it anymore.
Wow.
How common do you think that is?
Very
Yeah.
common. I was even reading that. I was like, oh yeah, I did that. Genuinely, I was like, oh yeah, I had that. I had that same sort of experience of like
In terms of what?
young, passionate, into a subject, dive straight in, realized that really I was just ticking a box for them and didn't actually get taken that seriously by some people in some situations. And you go, oh, that's kind of annoying.
But you can just do the groundwork.
I was putting my heart and soul into that, and I got
Yeah.
nothing extra for it. And then sort of later on in your career, you kind of get asked to do it again or in a different way, and you sort of think, oh, well, last time I did that, it was completely. It realistically ended up being a complete waste of my time. It didn't progress my career. I didn't even get paid for it.
Yeah.
No one even took it seriously. There was literally no point in me doing it other than ticking a box for SLT to say someone leads this subject.
Yeah. Oh, so not leads, coordinates. That's how we get away with it. And that's what people have literally said to me dead seriously with a dead face.
Yeah,
Like,
explain what you mean by that.
So for example, TLR states in the contract, like if you look at what a TLR actually is, a lot of people think it's just for maths or English or core subjects. And even then you don't always get it in a primary school for leading it, right? Luckily for us, we got TLRs for leading maths. I wouldn't have done it otherwise. I'm just going to be perfectly honest. I wouldn't, because it's an extra job.
Yeah.
Woe is me for wanting to be paid for the job I'm doing.
Yeah, 100%.
But when you look at the other subjects and you think about primary school, obviously there's loads of other subjects we teach: music, geography, history, art, DT. You keep going. You even have like leaders of other things like trips. You did a lot of stuff on trips, and like you have to do risk assessments and all that kind of stuff. But the point I'm making here is there's loads of stuff to lead and be involved with. But then as soon as you are labeled as the coordinator of a subject,
right,
and as soon as officially the buck doesn't stop with you in terms of if Ofsted come in and start looking at things and things aren't quite right, you can justify not paying someone a TLR.
right.
So that's why you'll often see things like, I'm the music coordinator, I'm the geography coordinator, I'm the history coordinator. People might say lead,
But not
and it might be labeled as lead. But if you look at the actual contract, they'll be like, oh no, actually you're just a coordinator.
Yeah, the responsibility doesn't lie with you ultimately, so we don't have to pay for it.
But you have to do all of the work
the
and
work.
basically act as if you are leading, and quite often even have the buck lie with you, because obviously if you're doing the job, obviously you're the person to go to when things
Yeah,
are
it
right.
does. Yeah, it's just pretending.
So here, when they're saying things like, you know, I've got to look at attainment and target children, is that right? But honestly, probably not. If you're not being held responsible for it, why are you putting in all that extra effort to try and target those people and make a move?
Yeah,
especially when you've got your own class to look after, which you're going to be judged on anyway when it comes to your appraisal.
Yeah.
So I think this is a symptom of the system being broken, right?
Is that different to you to like the idea of someone being a subject lead and looking at attainment and targeting children? Do you think that job is pointless in general?
No.
Cool. So
No.
I want to differentiate that. So you don't think that the role is pointless, but it's
No.
not bad that this person thinks, I don't really think it's right for me to do this because
Precisely.
they're not in the right environment. They're not being paid, or they haven't got the like. Basically, they're doing the job for nothing.
Yeah.
So in that, the answer to that question is no. It's not right to do that.
Yeah.
It's not right to do that in general. Of course, there's a positive to someone looking at attainment and targeting children.
Yeah.
But it probably should be someone who's at least getting paid for their time to do that.
Right, exactly. We look at the example here, and I'll just harp it back to maths and English leads, right? Part of our jobs as maths leads was sometimes looking at data and seeing targets and being involved in meetings with year groups that maybe they're saying, we're going to run this kind of intervention because this is the data, and we'll be there to say, yes, that sounds good, or actually, have you thought about doing this, etc. That was part of our job. We got a TLR to do it, and we got time out of class to do it. You need both of those things because I needed them to do the job.
Yeah.
Because I'm still expected alongside that to be running a class and doing the job of a class teacher. So you need time and money to lead effectively.
Yeah.
Now, the issue comes where, and this is so widespread in primary schools, there'll be people listening to this shouting now, going, yes, this is me. How often is it where you're kind of lumped with something because the deal is, well, we all lead something here.
Mm-hmm.
Well, we all do it here, actually. So we all have to do something.
Everyone's got a subject.
Do we? Because I've worked in schools like that where I led maths and I got paid on time out to do it. And the person who leaded, maybe I definitely shouldn't have led English. The person who led PE, for example, had to sort out the entire pupil premium budget and exactly where the money's going to go for sports premium, and do things at the weekend and go and sort out trips with children to go to different schools or secondary schools to be involved in tournaments, etc. And they were just a coordinator, so they didn't get any money out.
Yeah, and basically that's what's happening with this guy here. He's not getting paid any extra. He's got his own class to look at, right?
Yeah.
He doesn't need to be having this extra responsibility, whilst also probably simultaneously knowing that, like you said, the maths lead in their school probably is getting, maybe not, but there might be a situation where someone else is getting paid to do a little bit of extra work. He's been told to do extra work, but not getting paid. And also, like you said, ultimately, and this is another thing I feel like just gets left over, and you kind of glossed over it as well. You can get paid to do a job and also still expect to be given time to do it.
Yeah.
I think a lot of people are told to believe it's like, well, you're getting paid, you got to do it in your own time now. Or some people say, well, you're getting time out, so you don't need to get paid. As if they can't possibly exist. Whereas in reality, really, what should happen is, yeah, your expertise is so great, we want you to do this extra responsibility, this extra thing. So we're going to give you extra money because it's an extra responsibility and it's going to just more things to do. And also, we're going to give you time out so you can fulfill that part of the job correctly, without impacting the other job that's already full-time for you. It doesn't make any sense, like, to me, to not give both.
But the thing is here, because it's the language we use as well of saying give you time out to do it, give you extra time to do it, etc.
Yeah.
If we reframe that as keep your working hours the same, I think that's more important as well, because when people say give you time out, it's like you feel like that's a transaction and you're gaining from it.
Yeah.
Actually, what's happening is we're just maintaining your work hours. That should be part of the deal, I think. And it is the same thing, but I think that semantically is important. That when I was looking for a job like that, I think part of the, if I was kind of negotiating with the leader as to, okay, I'll take this on, will my work hours be impacted? Like, will my workload be increased?
Yeah.
Will I have to do extra hours of work every week because of this? If the answer is yes, then I might say, well, okay, I actually don't want to do that. I want to stay within this now. And if you got a promotion at work in an office job in a 37.5-hour work week, and you got a promotion doing something else, and you got more money because of it, it doesn't automatically lead to then you do 50 hours a week.
Yeah.
And it can just be,
There's no end.
Yeah, exactly. It's like, obviously that's not how things work. The roles you do give you more money per hour for doing that role, or more responsibilities you have. That's why head teachers are on more than teachers.
Yeah. They don't have
it's not that they work 10 times as much.
They have to do double the hours in school.
Yeah.
Because they will double the pay.
Exactly. And some people say, well, some of them do work more.
Oh, yeah,
but it's not okay. That's true. Some teachers work more. I know some teachers who work more than heads. I know that in general, heads work more and it's really, really stressful, but they absolutely should be more than compensated for that.
Yeah.
It shouldn't just scale up with time spent on the job. That's not how jobs work.
Yeah.
So that's why this frustrates me. So basically,
no, totally. So just finishing off this question, then, just so hopefully this person feels satisfied. What do you sort of just overall? What do you say to this person? They had a few questions really, like, is it right that they should be doing all this extra stuff? Is it bad that they're basically feeling like I don't really want to do this anymore? Yeah. Like, just sort of summary. What would you say to this person now?
I'd say to them, literally look at the actual contract that's involved in your school, because obviously I know that trust can kind of do what they want in these situations, which is horrendous, really. But look at the situation. Can you say no to it? Probably you can just say no to it. Yeah. You have to kind of transcend that awkwardness of just like, oh, well, everyone else has said yes and I'm the only one saying no. That's on everyone else, mate. That's not on you. Like, you need to decide your own fate here if you can.
Yeah.
And it's absolutely not right. And you should look at the very, very strict stipulations of coordination of a subject and why that's different to leading. Because if it's not going to be treated differently, but the pay is going to be treated differently, then that's massively skewed in favor of the people in power in your school. Yeah. And that's massively skewed against you as a teacher doing that job. So there has to be payoff. If you're going to be only a coordinator and you're not going to be given a TLR for leading, it has to be reasonable. Yeah. And you have to decide between you and your team and the people who are in charge of you what's reasonable for you, and you've got just as much say, if not more say, about what's reasonable than your employers do. Your employers can't turn around and say, do you know it is reasonable because everyone else is doing it, so you have to do an extra 5 hours a week. you can turn around and say, that's not reasonable for me because I'm not getting remotely compensated for it. You've just increased my workload massively. The only way I will cope with this is if I do 5 hours less planning and marking, and I'm sure you won't be happy with that. So what's your choice?
Yeah, good. I like that. Good answer. Next question. If you worked at Hogwarts, what a switch, eh? If you worked at Hogwarts, which subject would you teach?
Defense against the Dark Inspectors.
Oh yeah, yeah. I think you'd be good at that.
Yeah,
I actually think that would
just teaching the kids. The kids had to say no every time when they come.
Yeah. I like that one. Yeah, nice.
What about you?
Mine probably be like potions. I feel like making
there were
potions.
no silly incantations in this class.
Alchemy. That's my one. Give me.
Is that not just potions?
No. Alchemy's turning things into gold, isn't it?
Is it?
Yeah, alchemy. Alchemy is like the literal meaning of alchemy is. You can look it up. I feel like you need.
I want to.
The literal meaning of alchemy is the idea of like magically turning something into gold, isn't it? Or creating value out of something that hasn't got value. So I'd be like, come on, kids, everyone, bring in some wood. And we're all going to do some alchemy today, and we're going to turn it into gold.
I didn't know this.
I hope I'm right.
No, you're right. So alchemy is the ancient philosophical and proto-scientific, obviously not real, tradition focused on the transmutation of base metals into gold.
Yeah.
The discovery of the Philosopher's Stone and the creation of the elixir of life for immortality.
Yeah. Because they're quite linked, aren't they? Because I knew Harry Potter drew stuff from that. Anyway, yeah. So alchemy, that's the one. You make me money, baby. Get all the kids in. We'll get this class is called getting rich.
It's all you care about, isn't it?
That's exactly right. I teach the kids that all you should care about is getting rich.
Alchemy, baby.
Money. Let's be alchemists.
I've always thought Harry Potter and Hogwarts and stuff was pretty weird. Like, why like they're wizards? There's a lot of things in the story where it's like, no, we can't possibly just transform yourself. just like oh no, there's a troll in the dungeon. Bing, I'm not in the dungeon anymore. I'm a wizard.
Yeah.
Like it just so weird. It's
agree.
like so many plot just wouldn't take me. If I was a wizard, I'd be like, what? Sorry, why are we scared of that? I'm just going to turn it into a cat.
Yeah. Have you heard of the words Avada Kedavra? Because apparently when I say that and wiggle this little thing in front of me, everyone dies. So I don't really know why I'm afraid of stuff.
You've picked one of the cursed ones.
Yeah, sorry, I shouldn't be using that.
Actually, and there's one thing that always really made me laugh. In like the Weasley's house, it's called the Burrow, this big house, and they all lived in. In the films, there's a clock on the wall, and obviously the dad's really involved. He's fascinated by Muggles. He's like, wow. And there's one part where Hermione mentions about how her parents are dentists. And he's like, oh, what's a dentist? Like, what? And it's it's just like, okay, fair enough. On the wall, they've got this magic clock, right? And it doesn't tell time, but it just tells you where everyone is and what they're doing in the family. So each family member has an arm on this clock, and it points to where they are. One of them's dentist. You know what a dentist is.
What?
You got a clock there, and it points dentist. Why is a wizard going to the dentist? My tooth hurts. Ding, doesn't hurt.
Yeah.
Doesn't hurt anymore. We've seen it on the train when Harry Potter has his glasses broken. Ding, fixed your glasses. Why is everyone up to... Why are you wearing glasses? You're a wizard. Ding, we fixed it. Why have you got glasses on? Why are you on a train? We need to get to Hogwarts. Ding, I'm at Hogwarts.
Yeah.
I'm a wizard.
I just saw someone jump in a fire and come out somewhere else. Why am I getting in a car?
No, we need to go in a flying car to get there. Why is the car flying? What are we on chosen things to do?
Yeah.
We're not limited.
That one actually is worse than the Muggle thing, which is a plane. That one already exists. You didn't even need magic for that.
There's just so much where I'm just like...
Too much swearing. Can we calm down? Calm down, guys. However, Muggle studies is one of the things you can learn at Hogwarts.
There you go.
That might be
That'd be a good
subject.
We would know a lot about that, wouldn't
we? We would.
Yeah, that's funny.
Nonsense.
That's funny. I'm a wizard, though. That's always just what my line.
Yeah.
Oh, are they not magic?
Oh, I didn't realise that magic had these strange plot bounds.
They were just in a transfiguration class where you could just change a pen into a bat. Why worried about the stairs moving?
Yeah. Oh no, we've lost this key. Okay. There's a pencil. Turn it into the key, you idiot.
Have you heard of Alohomora?
I can't see. Honest to God, right.
Imagine being a wizard and wearing glasses, for sake. Is he a good wizard? He's wearing glasses, mate. No.
And his teeth are wonky. Oh, God. Well, we've just ruined Harry Potter, haven't we?
Sorry.
There we go.
I think the author's doing a good job of that anyway.
Yeah, as I say, she who shall not be named. Right, let's move on to the next question. Equally made me laugh. How would you both deal with an absolute knobhead first-year teacher who comes in thinking they know everything and are going to be the best thing the school's ever seen? From an ex-secondary teacher.
Oh, until that, I was going to say, is this your ex-mentor?
Yeah. Talking about
How
me.
do you deal with this guy? He thinks he's got his own podcast. He thinks he can go
he
in and
knows
just
everything.
ruin Harry Potter.
Yeah. Well, I mean, I definitely, as a new teacher, I feel like I don't want to like. I had loads of passion, and I do worry that maybe it came across like all bit of a know-it-all. But maybe you're looking at me like that's true.
I think, and I mean this with no ill intent.
Right. Here we go.
I think there were multiple people who were probably rubbed up the wrong way by your attitude, especially to maths teaching and stuff.
Big time.
And I'm not even being a dick.
No, I agree.
Like, I think that existed. And I'm not saying they were always right or wrong, by the way. I'm just saying 100% I can imagine you coming in.
Yeah.
I've just actually done a maths course, and actually mastery's the thing we're doing now. And there's a new curriculum, guys. Don't know if you know this.
And you've all got to change this. Yeah, 100%. Because I came in hard and I was like, I had no filters at that point. Classic young teacher. I was willing to work every single hour under the sun and couldn't even comprehend the idea that someone else might not want to do that. Yeah. So I definitely was coming in as a new maths lead doing that.
2 prongs there, isn't there, as well, in terms of like you were willing to do an extra 20 hours a week, but you were also genuinely basically saying, yeah, the way you've taught maths for 15 years is crap.
Yeah.
And this is the best way now, and I've just been taught it at uni.
Yeah.
Like, can you imagine now in our career, someone coming in and saying, no, that's crap, now we're doing this? Like, even if what they're doing is better, that's not the way to go about it.
Yeah, like even like pedagogically, ideologically, it's like, I'm sorry, mate, but you're not. I've got so much skin in the game. I'm so competent with teaching maths now. You might have come into a lesson where it looked a bit boring because I was adapting to it on the whiteboard, and you're thinking, the uni I got taught you should have stopped here for a mini plenary to get out these particular blocks or something. And maybe that would have been a good thing, but in that moment, I knew what I was doing.
Yeah. And understanding that every minute can't possibly be perfect. So how do you deal with them? Honestly, do you know what needs to happen sometimes? And I come from experience here because I was also probably that arrogant first-year teacher who definitely thought this is a good way of doing stuff. They need to be put in their place. Yeah, I do think that's important. And like we tend to talk a lot more about how people in positions of leadership are toxic or bad or bring the wrong vibes. And I think it's important that we do have an imbalance there. Because at the end of the day, those people are in charge of schools and implement things. Yeah. So it's much more important, I think, to call those things out and talk about them and explain how they're awful and can have an effect on lots of people. But I can't sit here and pretend that it doesn't happen the other way around. No. Where teachers are just either rubbish at their job. That is a thing that happens. Or like this, arrogant and kind of are also toxic in their own
ignorant,
way.
Perhaps, in this situation. Arrogant because they're ignorant of, like, I was definitely just ignorant of what the reality of teaching. I think there's a way to do it, though. I think that's really important. When we say put them in their place, I think it can be interpreted in a bad way and in a good way.
I mean the bad way.
You mean the bad way. Call them out, embarrass them, publicly shame them. Yeah, in the alcove. Good throwback. But when I think of that situation, I think probably going up to them and saying, "Oi, knobhead. Can you stop thinking you're the bee's knees, you're rubbish, actually get in your lane," would not be a good thing. I think it's going to squash their passion. It's personally attacking. It's actually just rude. All that sort of stuff is not good. Whereas I think a leader could approach it and just pull them aside and have a conversation where they just make things more known without being rude about it. Just saying, look, I appreciate your passion. I understand where this is coming from, but you just need to know that this is the effect it's having on this staff. You might not have thought about it. It's doing this, this, and this. So I just want you to be a little bit more considerate. It's all part of the learning process. We've all been there. It's fine. But doing it that way, do you know what I mean? Like as a structural thing, constructive feedback, but still letting them know, like, you need to stop doing that, you know, because there's still a lot to learn here, and there's things you didn't think about, and I'm making you aware politely. Yeah. If you carry on, though, I will be calling you a knobhead next time.
If you continue being a knobhead, I will call you one.
Yeah.
I think the big thing there, just to round it off, is there is not one way to do stuff. I really, really, truly think that, and there's lots of ways to do stuff well, and the obsession with there only being one way has led to a lack of creativity in schools and in lessons, and high workload for teachers who have had to replan things and do it in certain ways from the top down. I also think coming in from the bottom and kind of being that teacher who it doesn't have the back of their staff and understand the experience and that the other things people bring to the table, that's harmful as well.
Definitely. Should we move to the next question?
Let's go. I'm going to read it to you this time. So, next question. What is the most unexpected skill you have developed from teaching? I realized I have unexpectedly good balance. I can balance a child's chair on...
This episode is brought to you by Indeed. Stop waiting around for the perfect candidate. Instead, use Indeed sponsored jobs to find the right people with the right skills fast. It's a simple way to make sure your listing is the first candidates see. According to Indeed data, sponsored jobs have 4 times more applicants than non-sponsored jobs. So go build your dream team today with Indeed. Get a $75 sponsored job credit at Indeed.com/podcast. Terms and conditions apply.
This episode is brought to you by Workday. Could AI help you do more of what you love? Like reaching bigger goals ahead of schedule, growing careers, and the bottom line. Workday is the next-gen ERP powered by AI that actually knows your business, anticipating your toughest challenges and how to better solve them. Connecting more dots in your organization so your people have more time to connect to what they love. It's a new Workday.
My chin.
That's a really funny one. I like the idea of it. Like
With the child on it?
Yeah, with that's next level. No, that's still leveling up on that one.
Was this written in by a seal?
Yeah. I think it might have been.
Not good at teaching. Fantastic at balancing.
I've got one.
Go on.
I've got one. Yeeting stuff in the bin. Throwing things in the bin is a skill that I have developed over the years. The literal thing you tell the kids not to do, don't throw in the classroom. At any point where I had a bit of paper and I wasn't near the bin, I could not help myself but throw it and then also tell the kids, oh, don't do that.
Yeah.
Terrible, absolute hypocrite, but I got good at it to the point where I knew it would be worth it because I knew I'd do a sick shot and the kids would be like, whoa, Mr. Stevens, he's sick at that. And I'd be like, yeah, it's just easy for me, isn't it?
This is the guy, by the way, who said multiple times that he doesn't want to be liked by the kids just because he wants to be popular. Yeeting stuff across the room for a shout out.
Wait till you see me do a 360 over the head back shot straight into the bin.
I can't imagine you moving 360 in any way. I can't imagine that. I think your knees would break.
They would at this point. This is in the past. But I also liked it just for a bit of fun. It's irrelevant, really. But I also knew that sometimes I'd miss, and the kids would just find it really funny. So, and I'd always do the exact same thing. You know, when you just have the same script in your head, I'd be like, well, no, I meant to do that. I was just showing you kids that sometimes it's all right to lose. I just always make up some stupid spiel, and they knew I was taking the mick, and I'd do the same thing every time. Of like, no, I did it on purpose. I'll get the next one.
And you miss that again.
Miss it again. It doesn't matter. Sometimes it's about showing that failures over time shouldn't mean you should stop. You should quit. And I just
you should be on Diary CEO podcast. It's inspirational.
Yeah. And then I'd get one and see see first time.
Did you have you seen a meme about Michael Owen and throwing an apple in the bin? No. You're giving Michael Owen vibes right now.
I have no idea.
So Michael Owen would say because he was obviously like a very young talented footballer. He won like the Ballon d'Or, which means he's the best footballer in the world, basically, or Europe. And he was talking about how he was younger and like what did he have inside of him that made him so competitive and want to be the best. And he was like, he said, when I was younger, I would be sat in the front room. There'd be a bin over there, a bin by the wall, on a freshly decorated wall over there, and I had a finishing apple in my hand, and I had the balls, I had the gumption to throw it in because I knew it would go in. And my mum would say, don't do that, it might hit the wall. And I'd go, Mum, I'm going to get it in. And I threw it and it would go in every time.
So funny.
It's giving Michael Owen vibes.
That is, yeah. Me and Michael, we are similar guys, to be fair.
Yeah. You're both as energetic.
Yeah.
And as
both
powerful.
We both throw stuff.
Both really, really, really boring.
Yeah. Both irrelevant now.
Past their heyday.
Yeah.
Comes out of a good line once every so often.
Every now and then.
But is mostly
memorable.
Universally.
Memorable.
Yeah, memorable. There you go.
Memorable.
My one is reading upside down.
What?
I'm really good at reading upside down now.
Oh, as in like because the book's like the other way around.
Yeah, what I mean is reading upside down.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, you got to understand that the first thing I thought of was you literally upside down like a bat. You need to understand that when you said reading upside down, I thought of you hanging like a bat.
What's more likely, the book's the wrong way around, or I'm the wrong?
That's why I needed a minute to like realize that what you were saying was the book's upside down
and writing upside down. I'm really good at writing upside down.
Yeah,
because I'd like go to the whiteboard and they'd be like, how do you spell this word? And I would sometimes just do it like so they could see it. No need. I could have just read it much more quickly and spun the whiteboard around. Yeah, but it was just another thing I did. So yeah, doing things the wrong way around. The kids will be like, how are you reading that?
Left and right. Which another classic thing, like when you're modelling something to them, and you just know that they're seeing the reverse. So when you're saying left, you just have to go the other way, because that would just make more sense to them. Like little things like that.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah, that's a really good point. But yeah, in general, like it's mad what kids are amazed by, and that's certainly one of them. Other thing, close to yours, probably, I got really good at bottle flipping.
Bottle flipping, that was a really popular craze for a while.
Because it was such a craze, and I think the crazes like that when they're literally harmless, which that obviously is. Yeah, it's obviously completely harmless. Yeah. It's not a craze of pushing someone down a well. Yeah, welling. If welling became a thing, I'd be like, well, let's not do that ever.
Yeah, I'm not going to do that one.
Yeah, let's avoid that completely.
But actually, come here.
Maybe you, maybe just you. But with like bottle flipping, it was so inconsequential, and the only way that I felt like I could just stop them wanting to do it all the time was either take away their water bottles, which I personally was just never going to do. I always let my class have their water bottles, just because they're humans and they like to drink sometimes. Yeah, weird take, but I just let them do that. Or what I had to do was basically say to them, look, at the end of the day, we'll do some bottle flipping.
Yeah.
Like,
And you just join in with them, right?
Yeah, exactly that. So literally, we would get through the whole day. They'd have their bottles, and they'd know, because they were so desperate to do it, that I just would let them at the end of the day do it for a bit when they're lining up. So I said to them, when you go to line up, I say you're able to line up. You can do a couple of bottle flips and see what you can do. Obviously, at the same time, I was like, I want to have a go as well, because I'm incredibly competitive and I can't not want to do this. So I got quite good at bottle flipping.
And the end of the day, it just happens to be, in your definition, the last 2 hours of the day where we were going to be doing RE. Fair enough.
What's that? Well, we could learn about that. We could do rivers.
Rivers, yeah.
Or we could make
we've
our
done
own.
rivers 15 times in the last 2 weeks. Can we do something else? Well, all right then, this time. We'll do some bottle flipping.
I love teaching rivers.
I tell you what, you teach my daughter. That'd be great. I am glad that craze wasn't at the same time as the obsession with all of kids' water bottles being metal.
Oh my god,
that would be so annoying.
Yeah,
they were already annoying. They fall over one time, like, echoes around the room for 3 minutes.
It's like, Christ, Big Ben's gone.
Sorry. It's like, oh. Okay.
And they'd always leak.
Yeah.
Kids would have like 2-liter water bottles that were either made of metal or bright pink K-pop demon hunters. And if it was almost as if like they just touched the table in the wrong way, it snap. Oh, my bottle snapped. Okay. My mum spent 25 quid. Oh. I think the problem was when your mum spent 25 quid on a bottle and sent it into school. I think that might have been the start of that problem.
There's the issue. Oh dear. Anyway.
Can you try and fix it? Not really. Yeah. It's plastic and it's snapped. It's not going to go back, I'm afraid.
Oh, man. Right, next question. You ready? This is a good one, actually.
The other one's not big. This one. Well, we actually finally got to a good one. Nice. This is a good one, actually.
Sorry, guys. The rest of them have been subpar. This one, however, is good. Right, ready? You know what I mean. When is it appropriate to tell a children they've done a bad job?
To tell a children?
Yeah.
When's it appropriate to tell a children?
To tell the children. Did I say?
No, you said a children.
No.
You did.
I've got editorial power.
Well,
here,
we'll have to go back and find out, won't we? Why don't you just start again in case we cut this bit out?
When is it? No, we won't, because actually, Dylan, see, the thing is, I think making mistakes is really important. And actually moving on and showing that you've missed every now and then shows that you shouldn't give up.
I'm going to get a bin on in the background.
Yeah. Just the editing bin, that clip.
I had the gumption to try and read that sentence.
Yeah. I'll just do what you did earlier when you were reading that long one, which was read at half speed for some reason, because you were desperately trying not to get anything wrong. Right. When is it appropriate to tell a child that they've done a bad job? I'm not suggesting that we're going to go out of our way to be horrid and cruel, but there are situations where a child has put no effort into work or presented work incredibly poorly through no other reason than laziness or rushing. When is it appropriate to tell them that they've done a bad job?
I think, genuinely, if it's ever because of laziness, and we know as teachers when it's down to laziness or they don't, but maybe they just didn't understand it. I'm not talking about that kid.
Yeah. We're saying when we're sure it's laziness. That's the preface of this.
They've been talking to their mates the whole time, and I know they can do it because they literally did it 2 minutes ago.
Yeah.
Tell them straight away.
Yeah.
When's it okay to tell them? Every single time.
Yeah, genuinely.
Have really high expectations and standards of trying. I always say this. My mum drilled this into me. Do you know when you get older and you start to remember, like, there are certain things that have just been drilled into me constantly in my whole life, which was, you can control how hard you try on something, but you can't control the outcome. So she always used to say, listen, if you tried your best, I will never, ever be annoyed whatsoever. But she would say that to me because she'd know that I wouldn't try my best, right? Genuinely. But I'd still get I'd scrape an A or something, or I'd get a high B or whatever it might be.
Yeah.
But she'd be saying it to me. I know, the point was, you could have done better though.
Yeah.
So for you, that A, even though it's great and it's obviously better than the C, maybe like someone else, let's say my sister got a C in something else. She would be saying that to make the point of, she was more okay with what my sister got and more happy with what my sister got than what I got.
Because she actually tried her hardest.
She tried 100%. I tried 90%. Yeah. And she was just all she would be saying is like, that's what you got to do in your life, is just try hard.
So what you're saying is you're effortlessly better than all of your siblings.
I
think that's what's come across.
In this one situation I'm expressing, and in academia, that one thing, because genuinely, I try other things like, in terms of, let's just do an example now of singing or dancing.
Yeah, or interacting with people.
No, that was...
Yeah, sorry, singing. Singing or dancing.
I really...
Yeah, no, carry on, mate. Not to derail your story. Go on.
But I'd really try and not be very good.
Yeah.
And not be very good at it.
Yeah.
So that stuck with me, and I think that's such a good thing for kids to have genuinely at the back of their mind.
Yeah, definitely.
Is, did you try your hardest at something? And when it's laziness like that, tell them straight away.
Yeah.
I don't know what your guy is.
Yeah, no, me too. I definitely earlier in my career, again, that was something I thought, should I? is that bad? And I definitely got better at that over my career. I think I needed someone. I'm hoping this person just needs someone to say, no. What your gut feeling of saying to that kid, no, that's a really bad job, and not actually praising them because they have genuinely just put no effort into it, is actually all right.
Yeah.
Something like we don't have to be like super cautious all the time. No, tell them. That's how else they're going to learn. Our job is to help these kids develop as people. It's not just to say, just praise them for everything. And,
right.
like the whole thing of, participation medals, everyone's a winner. No, they're not.
Yeah.
No, they're not. And that's actually not how it is in reality anyway. So no, you didn't really try very hard on that. I've seen that. That's rubbish.
Yeah.
I've seen people say to maybe this is too harsh.
What you're going to say, I think this is too harsh.
It is. I think
there's a way of doing it.
It is, I agree. But like this is like the nth degree of, okay, cool, rip that page out of your book, do it again. Like this is nothing.
Yeah.
Like this is not a good enough job. The expectations are way higher than this. I'm not praising it at all. But you know,
you've seen me teach and stuff. I am like praise heavy. Like it's massive. It's just the way I teach. And there'll be somebody, you shouldn't praise all the time. Don't care. I do. It works for me. I like it. I love praise. I love saying how amazing. I love looking at amazing, whatever it might be, whether it's like being a nice person, doing good work, like over the top. But I will never, ever, ever praise someone incorrectly.
No.
I'll never praise someone because I feel like, oh, well, let's just give them some praise. No, the praise is always earned. It's always because of a reason. So I'll never say, wow, they tried so hard when I know they didn't.
Yeah.
And if you didn't try hard, you need to know you tried less hard.
Yeah.
Like I said about there, how ripping out the book's probably not the best way to do it.
Yeah.
The most passive way to do it in the world is to massively big up everyone who is trying.
Yeah.
That is still sending that message to that person without necessarily making them feel bad. So if you want a bit of advice on how to at least start with it, and you don't want to say to a kid, that's rubbish. Like obviously no one wants to do that.
Yeah, exactly.
Because you were very candid in the terms you used.
Cruel.
I know it's not necessarily what you'd say to the kids, but even like having that conversation with a child can feel quite worrying sometimes, especially if you think it might be parent backlash, etc. After, even if you're in the right, the person sat next to him who did really try, I'd be making that point. You tried so hard, even if it's worse than what the other person's done.
Yeah, because they tried the
you
hardest.
tried so. I've watched you sit there, rub things out, try drawing it again, have another go, looked at what you were drawing. You put so much effort in. I'm so impressed with what you've done.
Yeah, I'm so proud of that.
Well done.
100%.
And then finish.
Yeah, definitely. Just to be really clear as well, I want to give an exact example of what I would do basically every single time. So there's never been a situation in my whole career where I've ever just gone to a kid, that's rubbish, and walked away and said, you've got to do it again. I've always either done what you said, or more likely for me, I normally do it in their own kid's work. So if it's, I will praise them for something they've done that is good in the past and use that as a comparison for them in that moment to say, the reason I'm telling you this is not good enough is because look, turn back 2 pages. I literally know that you're capable of these other things. This is fantastic. Get the praise in so they still feel good about the other stuff, because then they're more likely to respond and listen to when you're saying, so therefore this isn't good enough. Yeah. I actually do. I want to make that really clear now, because I almost feel like I hate the idea that someone did take what I was saying earlier. I was like, just tell them it's rubbish.
I know what you meant, because you were talking in general.
And you know how I've taught. Yeah. So, but like, I actually genuinely think it is an absolute net loss if you just exclusively tell a kid, that's rubbish, you've done a bad job. Yeah. If you don't do anything around
constructive,
that
right?
to be constructive, which includes praise. Like, I agree. My whole career has been built on praise, making kids feel good by everything they do, so that in those little moments where actually you call them out and say, that's not good enough, I've got higher expectations to you, they listen. Yeah. And they go, oh yeah, actually, crikey. Because this person isn't telling me I'm rubbish all the time. They're normally praising all the good stuff I do. And when I try to skirt around it and be a bit cheeky and do something that's a bit rubbish and hoping they praise me for that as well, they didn't. Yeah. And I should probably, I can't get away with that. I need to try hard again. You can often as well, when you're doing it like what you're saying, when you're praising them still and making them feel good and saying, so something's happened here. Another byproduct of that is, sometimes actually they'll just buck their ideas out because they feel good that you're praising them and they do, okay, actually, do you know what? I was just being lazy. Let's do it. Equally, if they don't, then it helps you get to the bottom of maybe why. Yeah, because there is sometimes reasons for like a fall off, and like the child might be distracted. There might be something going on at home. I'm not saying like, I feel like recently we talked a lot about behavior, and it's been a lot about how there's personal, responsibility of what you're choosing to do. And I don't want anyone to think that. I still think there are definitely reasons for lots of behavior. Sure. I just don't like the blanket term of always it's because of something and they should be let off. But in this situation, when a child's putting less effort in, actually framing it like this in terms of positivity and still having high standards and still boosting them up, you can then use that as a door into trying to find out what's going on then. Oh, you're knackered. What? I'm just tired today. So, why are you tired today? Like, you have the general conversation. I was up late last night. My little sister was ill. My mum was up and it just kept me up. Oh no, that sounds okay. Just take it easy. Do what you can do. No problem. The bar of what I expect's changed for that child now. I've learned some information where what I've always said is, have you tried your hardest? Well, for that kid, trying their hardest, for anyone trying your hardest, is different every day. Yeah. Me trying my hardest today will be different to me trying my hardest next week. If I've just had some bad news, me trying my hardest might look like it's a 50% drop off.
If I've just had the best news in the world and I'm invigorated and I'm excited about what I'm doing, me trying my best might look twice as good now.
Yeah.
It's about understanding what's going on and still, as a teacher, being constructive enough to try and figure out what's going on. And if they're not where they should be for where they are in that moment, helping them get there.
You're so right. The nuance of the situation is so important. And as a teacher, in my mind, I'd always be, even though I'm still thinking they've done a bad job and I'm not going to let them get away, I'm not going to not mention it.
Yeah.
I would still also be thinking, why is that though? And if it's someone who never, ever, ever does that, and this is really out of the blue, honestly, my first thought is, okay, something's wrong, and actually I'm going to try and probe and find that out. I'm still going to use it to address the situation of, like, I will still say something like, I've noticed this is not like your ordinary work. Like, look at this great work today. This is nothing like the normal expectation you have of yourself. And in that nuanced situation, I'd be then getting straight to, are you okay?
Yeah,
like, what's wrong?
yeah.
Like, because I know it doesn't normally happen. Whereas if it's a different child, it might be different. If I know it's someone who regularly tries it on and just can't be bothered or whatever, then it might be different. I might not be going down the route of thinking, oh no, what's wrong? I might be just thinking, well, I did this all the time.
Yeah.
So actually, I just need to reinforce expectations with this child.
Yeah.
But yeah, to answer the question though, when is it appropriate to tell them that they've done a bad job? Honest to God, anytime they've done a bad job because you think they haven't met their own potential, their expectations, and how you go about that is the last 5 minutes of this conversation shows that that's really important within the nuance of that conversation, exactly how you approach that situation.
This episode is brought to you by Stouffer's. Here comes 3-time juggling champion Natalia Rogers. She's juggling law school, her TA job. Oh, narrowly catches the laundry. What's that fourth ball? Parents unexpectedly showed up at dinner time? Is that too much for Natalia? Not with Stouffer's Chicken Alfredo and its mouth-watering mix of Asiago, Romano, and Parmesan. When you're juggling 4 things at once and the clock strikes dinner, think Stouffer's.
This is your fix.
I'm your host, Stassi Schroeder. Welcome to Tell Me Lies, the official podcast. What's the most unhinged thing of season 3?
Steven, because he's so evil.
I do think he is misunderstood.
You see everyone face consequences. It's intoxicating.
The writers just know how to trick you.
There's always a twist in this show.
Tell Me Lies, the official podcast, January 6th, and stream the new season of Tell Me Lies, January 13th on Hulu and Hulu on Disney+.
One tiny thing I'll add to this, because it was a video that transformed my outlook on this and transformed my outlook as a teacher, genuinely, it was a very short video, and it was an art class, and it was a person stood at the front of the room with like just a flipboard, and the children were all sat on the floor, and they got them to the front and they showed them a picture of a butterfly. Showed them a picture of a butterfly, and they said, go and draw this butterfly. They went off, they all drew a butterfly. They all drew the classic, what you would imagine as a butterfly, very cartoonish version. Brought them back in, and then the teacher would say, fantastic work, well done, but let's just look at your drawings for a minute and look at the picture that's on the board. How many wings does this butterfly have? Like, how many times does it jut out?
Yeah.
And they'll go, oh, 3. And I'm like, I don't think anyone drew 3 juttings out on their butterfly. You just drew 2 because it was what was in your head. Do you think we could improve our drawings now? And they go, yeah. Kids run off, have a new piece of paper, draw it again. It's closer to what's on the board. Bring it back. Wow, that's amazing. Oh, wait, look at you, little matey over there. You drew antennas on yours. Why did you draw antennas on yours? Because the picture has antennas. It does, doesn't it? Look, and it's a long line and it has a little circle on the end. No one else seemed to draw antennas. Do you think we could make our drawings even better now? Yeah, we could.
Yeah.
What we're essentially saying here is to the children, what you're doing initially isn't good enough.
Yeah.
But it's framed in such a positive way where the children are excited to go back and grab a new bit of paper and do a new picture. And it's about feedback and being constructive and not being scared to, just because they're young children, think, oh, I've got to give you all the praise in the world for how amazing this picture of a butterfly is. That's a rubbish picture of a butterfly. I'm not going to say this to the child, but it's my job as the teacher to have some constructive input here where A, the children think it's normal to get constructive input and later on in life they won't take it personally when someone says something needs to be improved, but B, actually it's just getting them to physically do it better and think, what did I ask you to do? Did I ask you to draw a butterfly from your mind? No, we all draw butterflies. I asked us to draw this butterfly. So when we're sketching, we spend more time looking at the picture we're sketching than we do the paper in front of us. That's not a natural thing for a child to do. No. If you ask a child to copy something, they're staring at their paper, they're barely looking up. So you just start teaching them that. It's constructive, and this particular actual exercise here not only does that really nicely, but it is literally teaching the children to edit their work and know that their work not being of a certain standard in the first place is actually completely normal. Do you know what? Everyone's first draft of anything ever isn't the best version of what they can do. Break down that barrier early is what I'd say. And don't be scared with young kids to make them improve something or tell them where they can improve, because I think that breeds more confidence as they get older.
Definitely. I know the exact video you're talking about as well, because that was like gospel to me.
Yeah.
I remember watching that early in my career thinking this is the perfect analogy.
Because they were really nice with the kids. The kids were safe. The kids were happy. There was no picking on, oh, isn't it awful to say? No.
Yeah.
It's not.
Right, Dylan, this episode's going on, but I really want to ask this last question, okay? It's how do you respond when children ask about political events such as the Ukraine war or Donald Trump? Do we dismiss these topics out of hand as distracting and irrelevant to what we're doing, or do we encourage children to ask questions? If a 5-year-old asked me about what's going on in the world right now, I think I'd be perplexed.
I think I'd be perplexed too.
Yeah, definitely. It's an interesting one, isn't it? So, like, basically, the overall thing here is, do you think that these political things that are nothing really to do with the curriculum, when they weave their way into the classroom, do you think as a teacher we should be discussing these things, giving opinions, all that sort of stuff?
I don't think we should be giving opinions on political ideologies whatsoever.
Really?
No, not whatsoever. Like, in terms of pure the issue with what I'm saying here is when people will have different definitions of when something stops being political and starts just being to do with humankind.
Yeah. I've got one right now ready just to get this conversation going. If a 7-year-old said to you, Mr. Price, is Putin a bad person?
Right.
What do you actually say in that situation?
Yeah, because honestly, do I think it's political to say Putin's a bad person? No. Will other people think that's political?
Yes.
Of course they will. So I have to think as a professional and take out my personal opinion of things. And I think there has to be a really, really strict and clear guidance for staff school-wide. And it can't be left down to the discretion of the teacher, because the issue we'll have there then is that some discussions are going on in some classrooms and other discussions are being quashed in other classrooms because they think that's not for the classroom. But the teacher down the road thinks, actually, do you know what? The Ukraine war, we've got a spectrum of things that are going on, right? The Ukraine war, I think it's a very normal mainstream view that's not politicized to say that Russia invaded Ukraine and Russia's a bad force.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
I think that's a very mainstream thing to say.
Of course it is, yeah.
There'll be some people, if you go across now, you say Donald Trump's a bad person. More people will be on the side of, oh, well, you shouldn't say that. Compared to saying Putin's a bad person.
Right.
Because the things Putin has literally done, I think, are definitely absolutely worse than the actual things that Donald Trump has done. Do I personally still think Donald Trump is a bad leader, a bad person? Personally, I might well do.
Yeah.
Should I be saying that to the children in the classroom? I don't know. Keep going, Keir Starmer. There'll be loads of people out there who think Keir Starmer's a horrendous prime minister, who's doing awful things for the country. And that's just, yeah, you can say that. Of course you can, because he's just awful. It's for us. There'll be loads of other people who say, why are we even mentioning that in the classroom?
Yeah.
The line drops and drops and drops and drops, and people will have their own definition of where that line should be.
Exactly.
And it will depend on what they personally think politically as well. Some people will think it's okay in a school, for example, literally reform. One reform counsellor, I think he was, or a member of the party, posted about how he went into a school and was talking about reform politics and what he's doing. Okay. In the same breath, there'll be people in reform who say it's terrible for teachers to be saying anything to do with political ideologies whatsoever in school. It's awful.
Yeah. Indoctrinating children.
They kind of don't go hand in hand, do they? Those two things.
No, of course.
Like, there's kind of no consistency there. So my point here is every single person's a hypocrite.
Yeah.
And if there's certain things on the left that you would say in your classroom, and you say, oh, the right's all bad. There's certain thing on the right, and they say, oh, the left's all bad. There's a massive grey area. I think there's very obviously, clearly some things that are outside of that grey area, which are either definitely obviously good and definitely obviously bad. But where that line comes is so tricky to navigate as a professional that it needs to be taken out of the hands of the professionals, I think, and you just have blanket guidance on something.
I think so as well.
Whether you personally agree or not, because it's tricky. For example, I don't even know what happens with Spotify right now and saying the wrong topics, and if it gets cancelled or the algorithm is here, you say stuff, blah, blah, blah. But like, for example, take any action of genocide. Yeah, that's bad. Yeah, killing kids is bad. Is that political to say?
Very, right now.
Right.
That's the crazy thing though, isn't it?
But this is what I mean. Like, so there'll be some people who say no political talk whatsoever. Oh, we're lumping in the opinion that killing children is bad into political, and therefore we can't talk about it. What can we talk about?
Yeah.
Where is that line?
I always struggle with that. I don't know about you. I've struggled with that my whole career, because I'm very aware that as a teacher I should try to be unbiased and foster the children's minds in terms of thinking for themselves, and not just me shoving down their throats my political ideologies or thoughts. Completely aware that it's not. Why is it fair that I get to do that and someone who with different political ideologies, who's not the teacher in this class right now, doesn't get to? Like, I appreciate that. And where's the line? Where's not the line? But I've always really struggled because kids want to talk about it.
Yeah.
Kids want to talk about the real world, especially in year 6, which is where I spent most of my career. They do come in and they have heard about the news for their parents, or even on TV or in the newspaper sometimes. And they go, "Oh, Mr. Stevens, what do you think about this? Trump's just done this, or Putin's done this. This is happening in Ukraine. This is going on with Israel."
Yeah.
And I go, and sometimes I'm like, I'm like, I don't know if I should say anything here at all. Other times I revert to just trying to be like a middleman, which I think is probably the safest bet.
What do you mean by middleman? Because in my head, I think what you're saying, I just think now, I just say facts. I just say, he did this thing.
Yeah, sure. That's not too bad to me.
That's not what you mean.
Like factual things of like, this many people have died. Unfortunately, or what I might say is, cool. What's your thoughts on it then? What do you feel about that? What do you think someone might think if they disagree with you? Like being the middleman of like encouraging them to think critically without me actually saying, well, I don't think that's true.
And you do that for anyone.
Actually, go home and your dad's wrong.
Yeah.
Like I'm not causing that. I'm not having that argument. Like,
so if someone came into your class and said, "Wow, a genocide's happening, they're killing kids," would you turn around and say to them, "Yeah, but what do you think other people would think?"
No, exactly. I don't know. Exactly. I don't know. In that situation, it's tricky. Isn't it?
So I think if we just strip it back to the only thing we should be delivering is facts of what's happening and letting them discuss and decide what they want for themselves.
Yeah.
You know, for example, Trump did this, Trump did that. Yeah, actually, I did read that Trump's announced 15% tariffs, and that means the cost of goods is going to go up. That's just, no one can argue with that.
Yeah,
that's just a fact. I'm not laying down any opinion on it. And then the kids might say, "Oh, isn't that a bad thing?" I was like, "Well, some people think it's bad, some people think it's good."
That's what I mean about the middleman. That bit there.
Yeah,
I appreciate there's probably some situations where that doesn't work always, but that part of that conversation there is where I've decided I'm not going to say, "Yeah, it's terrible." I probably would just say, some people think it's going to have a really bad effect to the economy. Some people don't think that. It'd be interesting to hear what you think. Like there are some conversations that lend itself more towards that, where I'd always try and err on the side of caution. I think. Of not trying to, what I didn't want to ever do is I thought if I picked off 20 random people from the public right now and they all got to look at me right now, they could all see in the classroom, would they turn around to each other and be like, yeah, this guy is inappropriately pushing his opinions and political ideas on those children. Yeah. If they thought that from what I was saying to them, then I don't think that's right. Yeah. Genuinely. Because I think, I can't pretend it's right just because I agree with myself. Yeah. If someone was doing it with like far right ideologies, I wouldn't then be able to sit there and be like, well, it was all right for me to do it, so I think it's all right for them to do it. No, I don't think it's all right for that. I don't think far right ideology should be pushed in classrooms. So I just don't. So therefore, that means I can't do it either.
Yeah. And I guess after all this happens, I guess it's time to start RE, where we start indoctrinating kids anyway and saying Christianity's real. Because we live in a school that's for some reason Catholic. There's a picture of the Pope on the wall, and we have to say a prayer at the start of every lesson.
Yeah.
Indoctrination's fine when it's what I want to have put across. No, that's fine. The indoctrination of the Catholic faith, that's absolutely fine. But don't you dare talk about all people being welcome here. All right. I don't think those two things go hand in.
It's an extremely tricky conversation. Like, I don't know what the answer is. There are so many layers to it. I think hopefully what we've said here gets across roughly our opinions on that.
Yeah. Communism, I suppose.
And the limitations, like you said. You replace the word political with religion and suddenly the rules are different. And
I made a joke about communism and you just treated it like I was being dead serious.
So sorry. I was too busy thinking about my point.
I was like, I don't know. He thinks I want communism.
It's time to be commies. Let's do it. Oh, man. Yeah, crazy one. We should do like a whole episode on that. I feel like we could talk forever on political.
Well, we probably just did, didn't we?
Yeah, pretty much. But
it's a really, really tricky one, is what I'd say. Yeah. Because, I really think it's our job to be factual.
Yeah.
And outside of class, we can have as many opinions as we want. I actually just want to carry on and teach you how to cross multiply.
Yeah.
So if you could stop this conversation now, I'm going to deliver the curriculum.
Yeah.
So it's tricky. It is tricky. Hard. And what role does school have in those things that... It's okay to say school shouldn't be doing anything political.
Yeah.
The issue comes then with defining what's political.
And also, sorry, kids, we need to start having this conversation because we've got to get back to our British values lesson, which is being pushed by do you know what I mean? Like, there's so many lines where I'm like, it's okay here-ish, but not okay here.
Well, we do
live
in Britain.
I get it, but like, it's still a cultural thing that can change over time.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? Like, and people that we justify that being all right. We can't talk about these sort of things, but we can talk about it when it's within religion. There's basically what you made clear is there are some things that are quite objectively, like so clearly right or wrong, that you feel a little bit less awkward saying, yeah, that's just objectively terrible. But there's a massive grey area where, for me, inside that grey area are still things where I'm like, that's clearly wrong, but for some reason I can't say that because it's in this grey area.
Yep.
And I don't want to say it because there's people that think it's clearly right, and I don't want them to also have the power to say that because that's like, no.
Yeah.
So yeah, the grey area is huge. Don't really know. Don't really know the answer.
So answer that question. Don't know.
Yeah,
I'd
it's
also be perplexed. It's
very
tricky. Sometimes there isn't a really simple
No.
answer to something. I'm glad you asked that. Jeez, could have just ended it.
Yeah, could have.
Give me the trickiest question that we've probably ever answered.
Yeah, literally the hardest, deepest question.
Let's stop there, guys. If you got this far, please leave us a review. It helps us out massively. Share this podcast with your teacher mates or your support staff mates or your site manager mates or your office mates or your SLT mates. I didn't want to miss someone out because we'll get an angry comment saying, you don't care about those people. You didn't mention them.
Absolutely.
Oh, I'm sorry.
And also, don't forget to sign up for a Masu demo if you're interested in how to increase fluency in your school.
That's really good.
Was that right?
We normally try and make it segue, but that was just straight up.
Well, I thought we were finishing, so I thought we'd just get it in there.
Yeah. Have a look.
All right.
Want to see your brand on TV? Roku Ads Manager makes it easy to launch targeted ad campaigns in minutes, track results in real time, and drive on-screen purchases with just a click of the Roku remote. Get a $500 match on your first $500 spent with code ROKU500 at ads.roku.com. That's code ROKU500 at ads.roku.com. Terms apply.
Bye.
Bye.